live or not. I don't know. I don't know. Oh. Right. The problems that I've been having lately, I don't know, man. I don't know. This is just super frustrating. And I think we're still having problems. And I don't know what's causing it. I don't know what's causing these problems. Getting dropped frames. I don't know why. But that is what is happening. About 25% of dropped frames. It is causing issues. I don't know if it's a hardware issue or a connection issue. Potentially it's both. I don't know. I think we're back online. Looks like we're back online. Got a light coming through. Appreciate that. What up, Sam? I don't know if we're good now, actually. I don't know. I think we are. I'm still getting dropped frames though, and I don't know what's causing these dropped frames, because this has been happening a lot lately. This has been happening a lot lately. Like in the last, I think, 2-3 streams, maybe more, there's been some kind of issue like this. I don't know whether it's hardware related or whether it's connection related, or perhaps both. But it seems to be like a regular thing now, where at some point we have some kind of connection issue or disconnecting issue, and I think we're having more problems. I just see more dropped frames now. I don't know. I don't know. But it seems to be somewhat okay right now. So perhaps oh boy. I don't know, man. I don't know. This just sucks when this happens, though. Takes momentum out of things. Appreciate coming back, Sam. Thanks for rejoining. As we let this poor quality of a film play out. My internet is dropping a lot recently, and they put the prices up also. Man, that sucks. Oh, is it drop? Oh, what's going on? Are we still live? Oh. I don't know if we're still live. Are we still live? Still live. Okay, cool. Cool. Yeah, it's a thing. How do people like live stream for a living? That's gotta be mad stressful. I mean, I assume they have far better internet connections than I do. And my internet connection is pretty good, by the way. At least at least it was. It was up until recently, it seems. But imagine people who like live stream on Twitch or whatever, and they do this for a living for like, 5-6 hours a day, 8 hours a day. you know, making their primary income from this. It's gonna be mad stressful when you have these kind of problems. And they must have these kind of problems like often, you know. Yo, Ben is back. Appreciate coming through, Ben. I was just saying, like, people who live stream for a living, they must be just stressed. Because, like, imagine, like, when you're having an internet connection issue and there's literally nothing you can do about it. You know, like, nothing you can do about it. And that's, like, now your livelihood affected. Right? That's gotta be mad stressful if you do this for a living. I mean, I just do this, you know, a few times a week. And even myself, I'm like, bruh, for these few times a week and the problems that I have, if you're doing this like 5-6 hours a day or more for like maybe 4 or 5 days a week, 6 days a week, 7 days a week, if you're doing it like that, it's just gonna be stress. It's just gonna be stress. I pay just under 60 quid a month for buffering. Oof. That's not okay, man. That's not okay. I used to think my internet connection was pretty good. It was. It seems to be getting... I mean, right now, I just did a speed test a little while ago, and it's telling me I've got 25.5 megabit speed download speed, and 21.8 megabits upload speed, which is not as fast as it should be for what I pay for. Or what we pay for. I don't do it on my own. let me not try and let me not take all the glory. But for what we pay for, it should be faster than that. That being said, it's not a bad speed, and certainly it should be a good enough speed for live streaming. Like the 21.8 megabits upload is good enough, like plenty good enough for live streaming. But for some reason, still having issues. So I don't know what's causing that. I don't know if it's like I said, I don't know if it's the speed itself or whether it's if it's a hardware issue or perhaps some combination of the two. I know my laptop isn't like super high-end powerful, but then it doesn't need to be for live streaming. It's certainly pretty capable for a laptop, and I've been using it for live streaming for a while now. We haven't had any issues for the longest time. It's only really been the last maybe, I want to say about a couple, like 2-3 weeks, where the issues have been more prevalent. You know, I feel like in the last 2-3 weeks the issues have been more prevalent. Maybe that's because I've been trying to live stream more. I've been noticing it more. Perhaps that's part of it. But even still, it feels like in the last few weeks it's more prevalent. But yeah, we should not be having these issues, man. It's certainly not this frequently anyway. BT, sorry, with BT from the ISP. Okay, come man. Now the downside to living in a home, we have to use K-Com, excuse me. So they charge what they want. That sucks when you don't have much choice. They charge you through the nose for like subpar services. Well, based company, but I didn't realize you have to use them. It's not good. What happened? This happened before too. Yeah, it's happened a few times in recent weeks. And I say I'm not entirely sure what's causing it. Like because it looks like a connection issue, but it shouldn't be a connection issue because the connection seems to be pretty stable, as far as I can tell. It's possible that it's a hardware issue, but then, like I said, my hardware isn't terrible, so it shouldn't be a hardware issue. It's certainly plenty good enough for live streaming, so it shouldn't be a hardware issue. But I don't know. I don't know. I do need to replace my hardware. Well, I don't need to, but I should, and I want to. and hopefully I'll be doing that soon. I say replace, that's not exactly accurate. I'm not getting rid of my laptop. I'm keeping the laptop, so I'm not replacing it. I guess it's more I'm adding to my hardware by well, hopefully be added to my hardware by buying a new PC, or buying the parts, I should say, for a new PC, and then do a self build. But I do want to go with the Ryzen 9 processor. That's important. That's the main thing I want to do, is go with the Ryzen 9, because the Ryzen 9 processor is built for multitasking, in particular live stream multitasking. So that would be a good process to have, the Ryzen 9, and then a new graphics card along with it, and motherboard and everything else. What movie is this from? Kill Her Mummy, Don't Let Her Live. I don't know. I probably should know, but I don't. Perhaps YouTube did big film. That could be it. That could be it. YouTube be like, yeah, you're not even paying attention right now. I ain't even got my headphones. I'm not even listening to what's going on in this movie right now. I'm barely paying attention. I've not been paying attention to this movie for like the last however long. I have no idea what's going on. Audio has been low these last few months. Your audio used to come through clear. More daily. I don't blame you. Hey. Is the audio not coming through okay, guys? Ken saying that the last few months my audio hasn't been very clear. Is anyone else experiencing that? Friday 13th part 1. Oh, okay. Okay. Been a long while since I've seen that movie. It's fine at the moment, I think, and it's referring to when you had the mic issues. See. Yeah, I know I did have some mic issues. I shouldn't be having those right now, but that was more to do with the cable that I had for my microphone, where the cable would cut out and then it would disconnect the microphone, and then I had to switch to like my headphones for the microphone, and the headphones is not as good a microphone just anyway. It should be fine right now, Ken, or is it still coming through low on your end, Ken, or anybody else? Because right now I'm using my good mic and it should be coming through nice and clearly with the full range of my voice coming through. Should be, unless I put one of these voice mods on, then now I sound like T-Pain.
And now I sound like a banana. Well, that's what's cool. I got Spellcaster now.
I have other voices too, somewhere.
There you go. Sound like a boss right now.
And now Dark Angel. Is that oh wait, or maybe YouTube changed compression on their audio. The music videos being allowed about a year back, but they changed some policies and therefore audio standards. I see. I'm in trouble with horror fans who saying Friday the 13th is my least favorite franchise. Of Friday 13th, I know I've seen maybe 1 or 2 of them, possibly 3, but it was such a long time ago, I barely remember anything from those movies. In fact, when I did see them, I'm sure I wasn't really paying attention as well, so I guess I can't really say I've seen them, certainly not recently anyway. That's like Freddy in New York, I think, for one of them, where he's find some dude on the roof. And the dude's punched him up on the roof. And he's knocking him back, and knocking him back, knocking him back. He gets all the way to the edge. And he just needs one more punch to knock Freddy. So Jason off the edge. He's got one more punch to knock Jason off the edge, but he's like right out of energy. And then Jason punches him and like clean takes his head off. Or something like that, some kind of violence I remember. Hello, your voice strange, it's scary. Yeah, it sounds like it should be sound like a demon right now. Or Dark Angel, they call it.
Let's try this one. This one, I think this one's a bit less scary.
Okay, well, here we go, this one. This might be a little bit less scary. Stupid, very fancy had two women beating each other up. Well, why is that stupid? Can't two women beat each other up? Also want to have mushroom haircuts. I mean, that was the 80s though, so that's probably just like a style back then. I don't have the Darth Vader voice option in this. I don't even know if that's available. I think the closest is this one.
The Dark Angel one. Luke. And actually, by the way, he doesn't say, Luke, I'm your father. The actual quote is, no, I'm your father. But it's often misquoted, so you're right. But yeah, the actual quote is, no, I'm your father. Yeah, I like feet made, thank you. I do like feet, toes, heels, and soles. Yeah, Fred likes feet, by the way. I don't know if anybody knows that, but Fred really likes feet, so. Fred really likes feet. I mean, feet are useful. You know, you need some to walk around, to run, stand, you know, kick things, all people. So yeah, feet can be very useful. Let me take this off.
Now, go back to my regular voice. EVGA, I do like them. It's just for me, is never anyone Jason to root for, and all the sequels are the same movie with no story. Jason's cool though. Hockey mask. Putting glue on the train track. Yeah, it might work. They got disgusting and smell bad. And some people don't clip their toenails, although some people do on the bus. You know, when people say things like feet are disgusting and smell bad, my thought is, you don't wash your feet? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you can wash your feet, okay? Wash your feet and change your socks. You know, wash your feet and change your socks. Like, you should be doing that. Dude, is that a thing? Because you're not the first to say that, by the way, Ken. Like, it's been said before in this chat room. So yeah, I don't know who needs to hear this, but wash your feet and change your socks. Like, your feet should not smell bad, and they're not disgusting. It's a part of your anatomy, you know. I ain't saying you gotta love feet like Fred does. You ain't gotta have no foot fetish or whatever, but take care of yourself, dude. Like, take care of your body. You only get one body for your whole life. I mean, technically, you get multiple bodies for your whole life. You want to get into cell regeneration, but you know, the point is, you pretty much just get your one body for your whole life. So take care of yourself. You don't gotta have no foot fetish. You don't gotta have to be like, have women walk over you in their heels or whatever. But I'm just saying, take care of yourself. Wash your feet. Change your socks. Make sure you get an air. Don't be sitting in the same socks all day, every day, sweaty or whatever. The only time feet are disgusting is when people don't take care of themselves. But that's the same. That's like the same with any body part. You don't take care of it, it's gonna end up pretty bad. Oh, this got stuck. Jeans will lag out like that sometimes, or indeed. Oh, this guy in some danger. Oh, close. Oh wait, no, you get hit. Okay, not all feet, but some are really nice. Do you Fred talk about feet, Haze? Apparently so. Fred likes feet a lot. I'm just saying, because you pointed out, you were saying that feet are disgusting. I'm just saying you should wash your feet. Like, that's not a foot fetish thing. That's just taking care of yourself thing. Like, wash your feet, wash your hands, wash your whole body. Like, you should be taking care of yourself. You know, that's a thing that you should do. That goes to you and anybody else who needs to hear that. Wash yourself. Like, actually wash. Don't just sit in the tub with your feet hanging out the top of them. Like, wash yourself, you know? Cut your toenails. File them down if you have to. Maybe go get a pedicure once in a while. Rex trying to bring it back on topic. Anyway, some of the best strats will but ends in Mortal Kombat. Shinnok, Quan Chi, Shang Tsung. Oh yeah, Quan Chi was pretty cool. I like Quan Chi's outfit. And also, focus on talk about foot cleaning rituals. I think I should talk about foot cleaning rituals if you can, actually, because apparently you don't wash your feet, it seems. So every day, maybe even twice a day, wash your feet. Like, it's just wash your feet. I mean, Ken, you've been coming to this channel long enough to know that we talk about boobs all the time. We talk about all kinds of mad stuff. So, like, I don't know why you're trying to act like talking about washing your feet is some kind of weird thing. Do you talk about feet washing ritual? Dude, wash your feet, okay? Wash your feet. You come to this channel enough times to know we talk about all kinds of stuff. This is by far not the weirdest thing we've talked about, Ken. Don't be trying to act brand new, okay? Don't be trying to act brand new. You've been there plenty of times. Don't act brand new, okay? This is by far not the weirdest thing we've talked about. Wash your damn feet. Okay? Yeah, wash your feet. Get between your toes. And then get a towel and dry properly as well, because if you don't dry your feet, you get wrinkles, and you don't want wrinkles because then your skin starts peeling a lot, and especially as you get older, where your feet dry out real quick. And if you've got wrinkly skin and it starts to dry out, it's not a good combination because you get a lot of peeling and flaky skin when you do that. So yeah, wash your feet, but make sure you dry your feet properly and make sure your feet get enough air and moisturizer, because especially as you get older, and you might know this, Fred, actually, since you're a foot expert, but for anybody who might not know, but as you get, your feet are actually the driest parts of your body, or amongst the driest, the driest. No, let me say it again. Your feet lose moisture the quickest, right? And as you get older, that happens quicker and quicker and quicker. So that's why your feet are often the driest parts of your body. Like if you're like 30 or older, you probably notice that your feet get real dry real quick. So it's important that you moisturize regular to make sure that you're not, because you're losing moisture very quickly. So if you keep applying moisture, your feet stay not as dry as they can get, because the more you keep moisturizing, the less you get things like flaky skin and stuff like that. But yeah, take care of your feet. Take care of your body, of course, but yeah, take care of your feet. Don't ignore your feet. Don't ignore your feet. It's an important part of self-care. It's not a foot fetish to take care of your feet. It's just, you know, good self-care to do that. Thank you, Dr. Haze. All right. look at women touch my feet. I tend to kick. What is the weirdest talked about? I don't even know. Like, dude, boy, definitely weirder things than this for sure. But I don't know. What is the weirdest thing we've talked about? I think we talked about golden showers once. I don't know if that's. I don't know. That's not really weird though. I mean, that's just regular. I think people do that. So. We talked about butt washing, you know, wash your batty hole. We talked about that once. Actually, no, let me not say this. I think weird is probably the wrong word to use. Let me say unordinary. You know, things that I guess don't normally get talked about. You know, that because I feel like weird kind of paints a negative connotation to it. You know what I mean? But it's things that maybe don't normally get talked about in polite society. Let me put it that way. Because yeah, you should wash your anus. Like when you take a poop, you know, make sure you wash your batty out, because that's just, again, good self-care. Don't just wipe, wash. You know, because you don't want somebody eating your ass, and they try to go to town, and it's just like tissue from last week stuck in there and doo-doo stains, like, you know what I mean? Like, wash your batty out, and dry doo-doo stuck to your batty hairs, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just saying, it's just good self-care to wash your batty hole out after you take a poop. Don't just wipe, wash. Oh yeah, as well. Yeah, we talked about that. Don't touch my hair. I'll get some pedicures whenever. Yeah, man, get a pedicure. Get a pedicure, get a manicure. Get all of that, man. Self-care. Yeah, Cobra Kai. Cobra Kai shirt. Because fear does not exist in this dojo. It will cost more for guys. That might depend on where you go to, but it shouldn't. I mean, unless your feet are like mad, then maybe they might charge more for that. Like, if your feet are mad, they might be like, yo, we're gonna have to charge extra for this one. But it shouldn't cost more for guys. But yeah, maybe depends on where you go. That might depend on where you go. That ain't nothing weird now. Necrophilia, that. Well, yeah, no, that is weird. Yeah, necrophilia definitely gets the weird tag. That definitely gets a weird tag. Keep storyline. That one, Haze. I'm not sure that I do actually. Triple H Kane, Katie Vick. I'm not sure I do remember that line, actually, that storyline. Oh, this guy's happy. He kissed the girl. Oh, this movie's finally over. This movie that I barely paid attention to for the last however long, it's just finally over. I don't know. Maybe I'll try and find a proper copy and watch it again. I don't know. I don't want to pay £15 for it. I ain't gonna lie. I don't want to pay £15 for this. I mean, it was a crappy copy for sure. I'm not overly convinced that this would be an interesting film, even on a decent copy. But bruh, that edit, whoever put it uploaded, bruh. Well, you got me. You got me. You got me. You got me. But yeah, that's the end of that crap, or potential crap. I can't really say much about the film because I wasn't really paying attention to it. I wasn't even listening for the last at least hour maybe. So I don't want to say it's a bad film because that was not a good copy of the film. So I won't give it any kind of judgment like that. I would say that the edit was definitely bad. Whoever uploaded it and made it longer. It's like a 1 hour 20. It's a 90-minute movie that they stretched out to an hour 45 with the slow down edit of it. So that definitely did not help with the viewing experience. But yeah, now I know that this channel uploads dodgy copies of movies to avoid YouTube's copyright, auto copyright detection. Now I know that. You live and learn. You live and learn. So maybe it's a good movie if you watch it properly. Maybe it isn't. I don't know. But I would say that this version was not very done well. Yeah. But anyway. Ugh. Let me come over here. Just chat for a little bit before we depart ways. Catch up with the chat a little bit. Basically nothing is off limits here. You know, I'm reluctant to say that, only because, like, I feel like there's always a limit. It's just you don't always know what your limit is until you reach it, right? I would say this though. I think this is fair to say that, and I think this is kind of shown over the time we've been doing this, the things we talked about. I feel like we definitely do have a wide range, and hopefully this isn't too arrogant to say, but I think we probably have amongst the widest ranges of acceptability things to talk about on across any kind of live stream chat thingy on a platform. That's to my mind. Hopefully that doesn't because there may be channels out there that talk about things that we don't even think about. There probably is. So I don't want to sound like like I know it all, because I don't. But I do feel like everything has its limits. Everything has a limit. But I feel like we just haven't reached our limit. And perhaps one of the reasons why we haven't reached the limit is because maybe there's a respectability. Is that the right word to use? But I think we have a kind of a respect that kind of goes both ways, where what I mean, like we don't like we make jokes and we kind of tease each other and things like that, and we talk about various things, sometimes sensitive things, but I think we also do so with a kind of like I think respect is the right word. I'm not sure respect is the right word, because it kind of feels like it is, but it kind of feels like it isn't. But I just feel like there's a kind of thing that we have where we don't push unnecessarily. You know what I mean? Like we could talk about various things, or we could go into as much detail as we're comfortable with, and then if it's time to kind of move on from that, we can do that, and we don't kind of push for things that what I mean. I don't know if I'm explaining it right, but I think you guys get what I mean. Hopefully you guys get what I mean. I mean, you guys are in the chat, so I think you know what I'm trying to say. But yeah. Yeah.
Guess who's back again.
Do you like chat on the internet? I mean, I don't not like it, so there is that. And apparently I do it each week, so I guess there's something in there. fellow we talk about all sorts of things. There's no not yeah. No respect each other, acceptance again, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think that yeah. Yeah, I guess it's like we have an awareness of, you know, I guess you have an awareness of like people's boundaries, you know, like we can talk about whether it's religion, politics, you know, personal things that have happened to us, and we've talked about a lot of that stuff over the time we've been doing this, right? And we could talk about, you know, just fun things or more serious things, or pretty much anywhere in between, you know. But I think at the same time when we do that, we also have an awareness of like, okay, like I like if I ever ask a question, you know, I might follow up with something like, you know, you don't have to answer if you don't want to, you know, something like that. Just because, like, yeah, I think there's just an awareness of like, it's not that we're limitless, because nothing's limitless. I don't think, at least not in that way. I don't think, but at the same time, we have an awareness of like where we are. I think it's like kind of a natural way of knowing. You know, like it's like when you speak to anytime you speak to somebody, like you just kind of naturally kind of know where certain things are, and as you approach certain topics, you know, you do so. You know, it's not like you just don't talk about it, but you do so with a kind of caution. And I think we just kind of do that naturally without making it obvious that that's what we're doing. You know what I mean? All right, Sam's back.
Guess who's back? Back again.
But yeah, I think we just kind of do so with kind of a natural way of just kind of knowing certain things. And I don't know, I mean, I feel like it doesn't make sense as I'm saying it, but perhaps you know what I mean. As a yeah. There's a video that's being recommended to me. I'm not sure if I'm gonna watch it. Certainly anytime soon, I don't think. But I don't know. I feel like some of you guys might be interested in this video. It's by AverMedia, if you know that channel. And the title of the video, I think it's a recent video. It's called "Male Feminists versus Anti-Feminists on Jubilee." The show, you know, I guess they're reacting to a thing on Jubilee. And then next to that it says, "Stop including trans women in our movement," in quotation marks. It's a 43-minute video, so it's quite a long one, which is one of the reasons why I might not be watching it anytime soon. But considering what we were talking about the other day, I think some of you guys might be interested in that video. So yeah, male feminists versus anti-feminists. It's on the AverMedia channel. I like AverMedia actually. They do pretty cool videos. I watch them from time to time. They have a pretty interesting takes on various things. But yeah, it's a cool channel if you don't know it. Has little Jacob been in the chat recently? Not seen him around in a while. Hope he is okay. Yeah, I think the last few streams he hasn't been on. He might be just working. You know, I know he works quite a bit when he's on. Like was it like 6 or 7 days on, and then like some days off. So it might be just he's at work but not able to take a break, or maybe not able to put the stream on while working, you know, things like that. But yeah, he works. When he's working, he does long hours. So yeah, it could be just he's at work and just hasn't been a chance to pop in a stream lately. But yeah, indeed, hopefully whatever he's doing well. Email feminist, my favorite yet. Male feminists versus anti-feminists. Interesting. It's a 43-minute and 20-second video, so yeah, quite a long one. But when you have time, but when you have a spare 43 minutes, might be one to check out. Speaking of channels with interesting takes, actually, so a channel I came across a little while back is a channel called Kidology. And that channel is a lady from South Africa, who was born in South Africa but lives in the UK now. And her story is that her mother, biological mother, pretty much abandoned her at birth. I think it's fair to say that's kind of how she describes it. And she was adopted by a white family. So it's a black lady adopted by a white family. So she was raised by a white family in South Africa. And I ain't know if you know, but yeah, South Africa has a very strong history with racism. So this is a black lady being raised by a white family in South Africa. And as such has had, you know, a lot of white friends and kind of like integrated into sort of the more white side of society in South Africa. And because of that, has kind of grown up not really seeing herself as black. And it's a thing that she's talked about, by the way. So she has really interesting, because of that experience, she has quite interesting takes on things as well. But one of the things she was talking about recently, well, at least I saw it recently anyway, was that she, I mean, I guess she knows she's black, but, you know, she struggles to see herself as black, and often in her mind thinks of herself as white. And so when she, and she was saying that sometimes when she catches herself in the mirror, it's almost like a shock to her, just from how she was raised and that kind of thing. And it's kind of mad when you think about it, but then it's like, I get it, I suppose, you know, from how she was raised and the type of society that she lived in and was raised in, and the type of people that raised her and people she was around growing up. I guess that's the type of thing that would happen, right? Because, you know, you get reminded when people see you or when you see yourself, but then it's like how you're being raised. It's like you're being treated a certain way and this and the other. But yeah, she was talking about experiencing more racism in her lifetime. She's experienced more racism from other black people than from white people. And that's something that I wouldn't say that I could identify, relate to in that way. Certainly not the way that she's talked about, but I think it's something that a lot of us have had at least some experience with, where it feels like you're getting more animosity from the people who are supposed to be supporting you the most than the people who are supposedly against you. You know, it could feel like that at times. I know I've had times like that where it's felt that way. But yeah, hearing it from somebody who grew up that's pretty much had that her whole life. Yeah, it's interesting to hear that side and that kind of aspect, because it's not something you hear very often, and it's certainly not on YouTube anyway. So yeah, that's a channel that I come across it a while back, and you guys might find it interesting as well, called Kidology, K-I-D-ology. I'm listening to male feminists telling me how oppressed I am. Oppressed we are. Oh, Sam, don't you know you are oppressed? You are oppressed. And if you don't realize you're oppressed, it's because you have internalized misogyny. Let's see, I'll explain it to you, Sam. I know the response they get. The thing about oppression, and this is where there's another thing that's going to get me cancelled in about 5 to 10 years as well. Oppression isn't just one thing, right? Oppression isn't just one thing. I mean, there has definitely been very clear examples of oppression throughout the years, and you know, we can't deny that. We can't pretend that's not a thing. Of course, there's been very clear examples of oppression throughout the years. But oppression isn't just one thing. It could exist in many different ways, and one of the more, say, subtle ways it can exist is when there is a perception of power that goes somewhat unrecognized, and you'll see this kind of more in the online space. At least these days you see it more online spaces, like for example canceling. You know, like when people talk about canceling somebody, it's often coming from groups that are considered marginalized, where they are saying, oh, we want to cancel this because of such and such. But the reality is that if you are a marginalized group, then in theory, you don't really have the power to cancel anybody. The fact is that there are groups that are marginalized. However, those are often bolstered by people trying to gain favor. So online, in reality, you might have groups that do receive or are on the receiving end of some form of oppression. And I'm not trying to pretend that's not there. But in the online space, it's a little bit reversed. You know, those same groups that are oppressed in one area now have the power in another area. And I think it's something that people on some level recognize. It's just not something that anybody wants to talk about, or it seems to people want to talk about, because if they do, then it's always an admittance that there is a power that everybody has. Because it's very easy to kind of paint the narrative that people don't have power. We don't have the power. They have the power. They have the power. And they have all the power. It's very easy to kind of talk about that. But if you're in a position where you can say like, hey, this happened, I don't like it, you shouldn't like it, and we should boycott it until it changes. And I'm not talking about all those people who just say stuff on Twitter and nothing happens, but there are, you know, it can happen as well, where there are kind of enough people to make some kind of change, and you've seen that happen over the years as well. And if you can do that, there is a power that you have. So you might be oppressed in one area, but you're not necessarily oppressed in every area. But yeah, that's not a conversation that I think a lot of people want to have. Explain it, please. Something on see people. Not nice to be bad. Be a good person. Thank you. You're right. We should be good people, Fred. That is actually very, very good advice. We should all be good people. 100% agree with that. It's not nice to be bad. So be a good person. But yeah, I just don't like the narrative of, you know, the white man has the power and the black man has no power. I don't like that, because in any given situation, you're either going to be able to do something about it, or you won't be able to do something about it. And if you're not able to do something about it, then you need to figure out what else can you do. But the idea that you can't do anything because the white man has all the power, I don't buy that. I don't buy that. I think there are people in positions of authority that are actively working against other people. I think that's a very real thing, you know. Fred is white. That's a very real thing. There are people in positions of authority that are actively working against other people who would deny you opportunities based on whether they don't like your skin color, they don't like where you're from, they don't like what group you came from, they don't like your gender, they don't like this, don't like that. There are people who would do that. That is a very real thing. But to suggest that you have no power, come on. No, I don't buy that. I don't buy that. As if your entire existence and any kind of place or success or whatever it is 100% dependent on the white man and the things that they decide to give you. Like, nah, I don't buy that. I don't buy that. There are people in life who would help you. You know, I don't believe anybody is self-made. Like that whole thing, I'm a self-made. No, nobody is self-made. Nobody is self-made. If you live in a society and you have any kind of success or any kind of, whether it's money or whatever, nobody is self-made. Not a single anybody. Because everybody has gotten some kind of help or whatever it may be, or some kind of assistance somewhere along the lines. Nobody is self-made. You might have done a lot yourself, but you are not self-made. But yeah, anyway, the point I was trying to make, so I kind of got off topic a little bit. There are going to be people who are going to help you. There are going to be people who aren't going to help you. You know, there are going to be people who are on your side and people who are not on your side. And some of those people will be the same skin color as you. Some of those people will not. You know, that's life. You may come across various, what's the word? Discriminations. You know, whether it's ethnic, racial discrimination, sexual discrimination, you know, religion. You know, you may come across all kinds of discriminations. You may even come across more than the average person, and that's not okay, right? That is not okay. It's never okay. But to suggest that you can't get anywhere because you don't have power, nah, come on. You always have a choice on what you do, where you go, and how you handle things. To believe you have no power is to believe that your entire fate is up to somebody else, and that is not true. It's just not true. You may not have like the same power as other people, right? You may not have the same kind of pull as some other people, but to suggest that you have no power in any given situation, nah, not true. I don't buy that. I don't buy that. That goes for everyone and everyone has power and everyone is oppressed in some way. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's pretty much how I'd describe it. There's going to be areas where you're oppressed. There's going to be areas where you're not oppressed, and you have the authority and the power. It ebbs and flows, I believe. You know, there's going to be because nobody is like untouchable when it comes down to it. Nobody is untouchable. Like, everybody can get got in some way or another. It don't matter how much money you have, how much status you have, everybody can get got. And if that's the case, as it is, then there's going to be some area where you have no power at all. You know, everybody can get got. Like, you might be the big boss of the big company, but you can still get got somehow. So there's gonna be some area where you just don't have the power to control what happens. You know, that's why a lot of these companies, like, you know, when they talk about canceling this and canceling that, and oh, this person said this, a lot of these companies start scrambling. You know, because they're afraid they're gonna lose. You know, they're gonna lose. We're gonna lose. We're gonna lose money. We're gonna lose. They start scrambling. Everybody can get got, and when you realize where you can get people, where you can get them. Oftentimes it is money related. You keep this guy, we won't buy your products or whatever it is, and you get enough people. I mean, look what happened to Kanye West over his comments. You know what I mean? Like, if there wasn't enough people saying something, because Adidas weren't going to do nothing initially, but enough people were making noise, and they were like, oh yeah, and they've got to drop him. You know, now they got like, what I hear, like a bunch, was it $1 billion worth of, or I can't remember what number, some big number worth of shoes that they can't sell. They rather take that loss, you know, than the loss. Like, everybody can get got. I mean, think about this: if they'd rather lose $1 billion worth of shoes than the prospect of, you know, other people not buying their clothes anymore, they clearly don't have all the power. They don't have all that. They might have some power. They don't have all the power. So yeah, you might be the big boss of big company, but everybody can get got, which means everybody has an area where they're powerless. Like human, we all are, regardless of skin color. Indeed. Another fact, Fred. Fred's on a roll today. Was it be good? And we're all human regardless of skin color? Yeah, Fred's on a roll today. Be kind. Yo, Fred's on a roll today. Fred is killing it today. Spot on. Appreciate that, Ben. The more I see, the more I believe class is the UK's biggest problem. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, skin color, yeah. I only care about skin color when I could exert my black beverage. Good points. Appreciate that, Ben. Yeah, skin color is just one of these things where it's like, I wish it wasn't these things that we had to talk about. I mean, technically we don't have to talk about it, but you know what I mean? I wish it wasn't these things that just what, because it makes no sense for it to be as big an issue as it is. Like, when you really think about it, it makes absolutely no sense for it to be as big an issue as it is. But unfortunately, that's the way it goes. So it comes up every now and then. History of the world. It's alright, it is what it is. We deal with that. I won't ignore it, but also don't feel like I want to just cater these like bollocks ideas of, you know, like how much do you hurt your own cause when you make your money by talking about issues that affect your cause? You know what I mean? Like when you see some of these like YouTube channels. In fact, Kidology actually was talking about this in one of her videos as well, about the YouTube activists, about how they're in a position where they make money by talking about all these problems. Matter of fact, pretty sure I've said this before as well, and it doesn't matter. We both said it, I guess. She probably said it better. But yeah, you have people who effectively make money by talking about problems. And it's like, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like problems don't exist or, you know, issues aren't. Of course they do. But if you're making money by talking about these problems, then you gotta know that there is a conflict of interest right there. There is a conflict of interest right there. If you make your living by talking about various problems of the world, whether they're racial, gender related, if that's how you make your living or the bulk of your living, that is a conflict of interest right there. Like, you don't make anything if when you start telling people things are fine. Now think about that. If you go on your channel talking about something and you start saying, oh yeah, this is fine actually, it looked like there was an issue, but it's actually pretty okay. Like, they actually did the right. If you start saying that, you lose your audience, because that's not what they're there for. They're there for you to talk about the problems and the oppression and the things. So you look for problems that don't exist after a while. And I'm sure you've seen people do this in YouTube videos where they talk about something that's clearly not an issue, and they will talk about it as if it's the biggest thing in the world. It's like, nah, you are looking for problems right now. And I get it. It's how you make your money. That's how you make your money. I ain't mad at you. But let's not pretend it's something any more than all it is. You know, I'm not going to stand in the way of anybody trying to make money, because I get it. It's tough out there. And we all got to feed ourselves somehow. I get it. I ain't mad at it. I ain't mad at it. But hey, just let's not pretend it's something more than what it is. Let's not do that, yeah? You can buy a lot of things, including power. But as you say, nobody is truly self-made. Everyone has someone helping along the way. The funny thing is, money has no actual value. It's merely a... Oh, exactly. 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 We all kind of buy into it. We all kind of buy into this idea of money and value and what things are worth. I think we do it so much that we forget why we even do things in the first place. You know, like if you need £100, right? If you need £100 and you get a job and that job pays you £150, you're doing well. You're doing well. But we all kind of get caught up in this idea of, well, if I could get, you know, £700, then that's even better, right? We only need 150, so what are you gonna do with the rest of the money? You start buying silly stuff a lot of the time, try to impress people, you know. Start working jobs you don't like to buy crap you don't need to impress people you don't like. I'm pretty sure I've said that before. I'm not the first to say it. It's in a movie. It's from a movie. But we do it, right? We kind of get this idea of like, more money, more money, more money. And I was like, wait a minute. What am I actually doing? If I can do a job that doesn't stress me out, it pays me the money I need, and even more than maybe even a little bit more than the money you need, but you're not stressed out. You can pay your bills. You got money left over. You know, you're eating. You got food. You got clothes. You know, you got a little cash. You could enjoy yourself, have a little fun. You got time. You know, then you're doing well. So what if you don't have like 10 quadrillion whatever, and you know what I'm saying? People who make like that kind of big money like that, they don't relax very much. You know what I mean? Like, they don't relax very much. Here's another thing that you don't hear people talk about when it comes to jobs and money and stuff. The more you get paid, the more you work. The more you get paid, the more you work. You look up any job on any job website that tells you it's 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. And some of them are going to say pays, I don't know, £25,000 a year, right? Cool. Some of them are going to say it pays £60,000 a year. Now, on the surface, it looks like, wait a minute. So for the same hours, I could earn, you know, twice as much. Great, I'll go for that one, right? Here's what they don't tell you. You are not working 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. You're not. Like, your contracted hours are 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, but you are not working at 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. You're working from when you wake up to when you go to bed. Every day. You know, those jobs that are paying like, you know, 50, 60, 70,000 a year, you know, they're not 9, you're contracted at 9 to 5, but I promise you be working all the time. You know, you're not relaxing. You know, you might relax, you might get a break, you know, once a year if you're lucky, but you are working pretty much all the time. You go on a holiday, people are calling you. Oh, yeah, we need to check this. And it's not like you can just ignore the call, because like, even though you're on holiday, you also know that if you don't take those calls and something happens, when you get back, it's your ass, right? So you're working all the time. You're getting up and you're checking reports because it's like, you're gonna make sure this is done and that's done. Your contracted hours are Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, but you are working all the time. That's what they don't tell you. That's what they don't tell you. And look, hey, there's people who love that. And if you love it, then cool, you know, go for it. I ain't saying that. If that's what you want out of life, then go for it, you know. But for those of us who don't, and like I said this before, like we could all do it with extra money, right? I get that. We could all do it with extra money. But if it starts to come at the expense of your sanity, and to me, it just ain't worth it. It just ain't worth it. Sometimes it's nice to have the silly stuff, for sure, for sure. A little nonsense now and then is relished by the wisest men. Right, exactly. Yeah, most of us live as if you have all the time in the world, yeah. I mean, when you're young, it kind of feels like that, right? You get older, you kind of appreciate it a bit more. You appreciate time a lot more when you get older. When you're young, it's like you don't even think about it. You know, when you're like 15 years old, you know, 40 is like a million years away. You know, 40, you know, that's like way away. You get to 40 and it's like, damn, where did the time go? It's just like that, man. It's like that. But you appreciate it, but we just realize, like, I think that more and more you just appreciate what's really important, you know, what's really important to you. And we know that we're not all gonna have the same values, and what's important to me might not be important to you, and you know, vice versa and so on. But I think you appreciate things that what's really important to you more and more, and keeping those things in your life as much as possible, you know. Because for me, the idea of like earning, I mean, look, I ain't gonna lie. If I could earn £100,000 a year, you know, just doing this, then awesome, right? But if you're gonna tell me to earn £100,000 a year, I gotta be like working all day, every day. I'm just like on it all day, every day. I'm figuring this out, figuring that out, and checking that, and checking these stats, and checking the, and all this. Oh my, right, I don't, because nah. Because it's just once you start getting stressed out, it's like nah. Nah, I'm good. I'm good. My goal is to earn as much money as I can while staying stress-free. It's not even a goal. I won't say it's a goal, but I'll say that's kind of the ideal. That's like earn as much money as you can while remaining stress-free. Like, I'm not trying to stress myself out for nothing. Like, it's just not worth it at that point. It's just not worth it. Time is free but priceless. Yeah, I like that. Spend it, but you can store it. Yeah, once you use it, it's the one thing you spend and never get back. Oh, there time goes. Yeah, for sure. What's important to you, please and thank you? What's important to me? Happiness. And just being able to be yourself, which is difficult at times, because, you know, like I said, we all got to go out into the world and we all got to pay our bills somehow. And I get it. Like, people, you know, you do what you got to do when it comes down to it. You got to pay your bills, you got to feed yourselves, you got to feed your families, you know. I get it. You do what you got to do. And not everything you do in regards to getting money is going to be all the things you want to do. That's just the unfortunate truth of it all. Like, not absolutely everything you do is going to be, you know, what you want to do, but at the end of the day, as long as you're not doing nothing immoral, and as long as you can still be yourself at the end of it all, you're doing all right, man. You're doing all right. How do you know stress? Stay happy, man. Stay happy. Just do the things that make you happy, and don't worry about what everybody thinks of it. Just be you. Just be yourself. Unless you're an arsehole, then be someone else. Be so. If you're an arsehole, if you're just a bad, mean, horrible person, then you'll be somebody else. But aside from that, Just be yourself, man. Be yourself. Be yourself. He's at work now. He doesn't finish till 2 a.m. Oof, late one. He's what's important to me. He's just rose week by week, and he's in training at the moment. But yeah, so kind of things like that. Like, you know, you maybe you don't always want to work till 2 a.m. right? In fact, I'd imagine nobody ever wants to work till 2 a.m. But you know, it's like you do it because okay, you gotta get, you know, you gotta earn your money, you gotta take care of your family, you gotta do all that stuff. But at the end of it, you still get to go home and just be yourself. So like, yeah, times like that is like, it just is what it is. You know what I mean? Not everything you do is going to be in line with everything you want. You know, it's just life. So yeah, every now and then you're going to do something you don't necessarily want to do because you kind of have to do it just to kind of get by. But as long as at the end of it all, you can still just be yourself. You know, you can still just come home, just chill, be yourself, and just remove all that stress of the day. Drive a bullion, stress me out. Like I have fun, but it's still stressed. Bullion? Was somebody bullying you, Fred? I mean, if you, yeah. Well, I'll say if that's too personal, then it's cool if you'd rather not talk about it. But are you in school, Fred, by the way, or is that like at work? I mean, when you talk about bullying, again, this is you'd rather not. First week training, so he doesn't know yet. He's promoted into training. Promotion. Promotion. Promotion come, and then it's the big bucks. Once those promotion dollars start rolling in, you're gonna see Sam turn up to the live streams with like gold teeth. So it's gonna change your profile picture. So you're gonna have gold teeth, like all diamonds in the grill, chains, all big necklaces. We're blinging. Sam's gonna be blinging. Sleep. The job lines off nice. Well, hopefully you know nothing happened afterwards. Like It's less than £30 a week. £7 a day. Well, that's a chicken meal every day at least. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. If you get an extra £7 a day, then bringing home a chicken meal every day could be a thing. I'm just saying. I'm not saying. Look, I'm not trying to tell people what to do with their money. I'm just saying. I'm just putting it out there as an idea. You get an extra £7 a day. It's a chicken meal every day, like chicken and chips, chicken tips and a drink every day, every day. Matter of fact, chicken chips and a drink you could probably get it for like a £5 in most places. So that's like a chicken meal and £2 left over. You know, I'm just saying that sounds like a good way. That sounds like a good way to spend the money. You also get bullied. Define bullying. I mean, I don't think I get bullied, but like in school, I don't think I ever got bullied in school. Certainly not in that traditional sense. I mean, I guess there's been various times where I got picked on, you know, things like that. But bullying in a sense of like daily harassment and that sort of stuff, and you know, no, that hasn't happened to me. But yeah, I mean, I think various times where, you know, someone's been picking on me for no good reason or whatever, and people feel like people think they can just get away with it or whatever. And last time it happened was at a job that I had a few years ago, where the guy that I was paired with was like constantly like. Just got to like he was constantly like shouting, swearing, call me all kinds of names, stuff like that. And I'd be like, "Yo, don't talk to me like that." And I think I don't know this for sure. But I think for some reason he was under the impression that I was just gonna take it. You know, that he was gonna say what he said, and I was supposed to just take it and not say anything and just cower in the corner and you know whatever. I feel like that's what he's used to. I don't know. Because he was more mad at the fact that I was telling him not to talk to me like that than whatever he was initially mad at me to be. Like, I don't even know what I did. Like most of the times, like it wasn't even like he wasn't my boss or anything. It wasn't like I would turn up and I'll do a bad job and he had to tell. You know, it wasn't like that. He was not my boss. He was like literally same level as me. But he'd be shouting, swearing, calling, and I'd be like, "Yo, don't talk to me like this." And then he would just get even madder, and it's like, so I ended up telling the managers, but they never did nothing about it. So in the end, yeah, I just walked away. It's like, you know, I don't need this. It's not worth it for me. Like the effort that I'd have to put in to keep that, to stay there and deal with that and keep that job, I was like, you know, it's just not worth it for me. It's not worth it. It is not worth it. So yeah, walked away, and I ain't mean to brag, but I walked away with no other job lined up, and ended up doing cab work and earning more money doing that than I would have had I stayed at that job. So I'm just saying, I think it worked out okay for me. I think it worked out okay for me. So yeah. So yeah, I earn more money now, or rather, I should only say I have been earning more money doing this with nowhere near the amount of bollocks that I was dealing with doing that. I think it worked out okay for me. I think it worked out okay. So yeah. Just certain companies are just rotten. No, let me not say that. It's not the company, it's the people who work there. It's the people who work there. Because I was telling the manager, and the manager never did none. You know, it's one of these managers that be like, okay, yeah, I'll talk to him. and they never do. Or if they do, then they don't really make it clear that it's not okay. You know, so it just carried on, and it was like that for months. And eventually I was like, you know, I just don't want to do this no more. Let's hand them my notice and I'll go. Like, if they're not going to do anything about it, they either don't want to or they don't care. Either way, I'm not staying. I'm not staying. It's just not worth it. It's not worth it for me to come into work every day and feel like I have to get into a fight with somebody, you know, just so I can have a near normal. It's just not worth it. I ain't trying to live like that. Deals. Friday changes from 5 a.m. to 3 p.m. Chips and fish and feet. I mean, hopefully not all at the same time. Oh yeah, there you go, not together with the feet yet. I mean, feet are fine, but maybe don't have them with your fish and chips though. That's probably not a good idea. And not to everyone. You know what? Like, I know people kind of throw this word around, so I do feel a bit reluctant to use it myself. But you know, like when people talk about narcissists, he actually really did display a lot of those tendencies where, yeah, he was pretty okay with most people. Like when we're around other people, he would be fine. You know, like if there was somebody else there, he'd be fine. He'd be like all jokey around, ha ha, you know, just kind of cool, chill. But anytime we're on our own, he would just start shouting, swearing. And it's like, why though? Like, I literally have not done anything to bother you. Like, and he would always find something to complain about. Like, it got to a point where, because, you know, we were going to different houses and like clearance out of houses, right? It got to a point where we'd go to a house and whatever room he went to, I'll just go to a different room, right? It was like that because I just didn't want to be around it. Whatever room he went to work in, I'll go to a completely different room and you know, clear that out. And they would be complaining about, oh yeah, he doesn't do this. He went to a different room so he could do the easy way. And it was like, shit, you know, that's ridiculous. It's actually ridiculous. So yeah, I don't know. Here's what I do know about him actually. Here's what I do know. He had, or maybe has, 5 kids. And as best as I can tell, he didn't get along with any of them. Like, that might not be exactly true, but at the very least, there was a few of his kids he had, like, relationship issues with. Like, because I remember him saying something like, he's something that he told me. I don't know why he told me this. Maybe he thought I was his friend. I don't know. But it's something that he told me that he didn't have a good relationship with his kids. And he was, like, trying to, like, rebuild it or whatever. And yeah, after spending that little time with him, I'm like, yeah, I get it. I get why your kids don't like you. Like, I understand why your children do not like you. I understand why your children don't want you to see your grandkids. I get it. Like, if you can't understand that, I understand why. I've known you for like a short amount of time, and I can tell why your kids do not want to spend any time with you and want no part of you. It's very obvious to me. Like, this should not be a surprise. Like, if you're paying attention... if you're paying attention, this just makes sense. Like, why your kids don't want nothing to do with you. Like, but you know what it is? Like, some people just cannot see the bad in themselves. Like, they're so egotistical or whatever. They just cannot understand that they're doing something wrong, and they just keep doing the wrong thing. I don't know. Job you do before, it's actually a pretty decent job actually. I quite like the job, to be honest with you. It was called mobile caretaker. So what we'd do is go to houses after they've been vacated, after the previous tenants have left, and then we'll clear out anything that's been left behind, like furniture or any items or whatever it is. We'll clear that out, and then we'll take them to like recycle yards to dispose of them. And then we'll go back and like just clean the place so to get it ready for like the new tenants coming in. So yeah, the job itself was pretty cool. I actually didn't mind the job itself. It was physical, which I don't mind. You find loads of cool stuff doing that kind of work as well. And since it's all going to get thrown out anyway, like it's not a problem to keep a few things. So that's actually what started my vinyl collection. So yeah, I started collecting vinyl after that because I'd find like old vinyl pieces and just keep them, you know. So yeah, I built up a decent vinyl collection just from finding stuff. Yeah, even though I don't get to do that no more. That's the one thing I miss about that job, that I don't get to, you know, find, you know, vinyl pieces or just cool stuff like that anymore. That's the one thing I miss from that job. Yeah, it's as cool as vinyl is, it's not worth putting up with that for. So yeah. Tells you all you've been right. Exactly. Some dads are indeed. They do have dead people. Houses. Are they alive? Mostly it's people who'd left. At least the ones I did anyway. It was mostly people who left. There was one house I went to where, yeah, the person passed away and we're clearing out his stuff, and that was kind of sad actually, because you go into the house and everything was still neat. Like, this guy looks after his place. But what was really sad is that I can't remember if somebody said it or if it was just from the way the house was, but at some point it became clear to me that this guy didn't get very many visitors. Like, he was an older man, I believe, like when he passed away. And it became somewhat clear to me. I can't remember exactly how it became clear to me though, whether it was mentioned or it was just stuff that I was seeing in the house. But at some point it became clear to me that this guy didn't get very many visitors. So he was an old man just kind of living there by himself. It didn't seem like he was getting very many visitors, so he, you know, kept his house pretty neat. He has some really cool stuff in there as well, like some like old games, like video games from old computer games. You know, stuff like that, and you know, vinyl as well, and you know, like sort of collections, like toy collections, not Matchbox toys and things like that. It has a lot of cool stuff in there. But yeah, that was pretty sad actually. That was pretty sad. And a lot of the stuff was still in good condition, like a lot of clothes. I was suggesting to them that they can take the clothes to like a charity, rather than just throw them out. They could maybe take to a charity, but they didn't want to do that. They gave some nonsense reason. I can't remember what the reason was, but yeah, it was something like, oh, we can't do that because such as I can't remember what they said, but it's some nonsense reason where they couldn't take it to a charity. But yeah. Here's a question on the subject of dads. Which do you think is better for the kid, a dad who isn't around or an inconsistent dad? Which is better? Oof. I'm not sure, but that might depend on a lot of different things. I don't know. Which is, none of them sound good at all, right? The dad who isn't around or an inconsistent dad. I mean, I think it might just depend on the child and their own kind of personality and how they deal with things. You know, for one child, it might be better to have an inconsistent dad. And I mean, I guess either's not good, of course, but for one kid, it might be that if they had an inconsistent dad, they turn out better than had they had no dad at all. Whereas another kid, it might be better for them to have no dad around at all than to have an inconsistent dad. So I guess it depends on the child and their own personality and how they handle things and stuff like that. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of leaning towards not around at all, only because at that way you can just accept that he's not around and learn to deal with it and do the best you can that way, rather than someone who's there, you think they're going to turn tomorrow, then they're not there, then you don't know where they are, and then they come back out of the blue, and you think everything's okay again, but then it's not. You know, I don't know. That sounds like that could probably do more, but either of them have bad potentials, I guess. That's sort of weird experience. Yeah, maybe not weird, but yeah, it was definitely a an experience for sure. Definitely one of these things where you really think about, you know, your life and who's in it, and you know, if you do reach that age, who's coming to see you, you know, that sort of thing. Definitely makes you think about that kind of stuff. That's really only people who seem to be forgotten. That's so sad. EVGA adverts. Yeah, just too recent about lonely elderly people. Yeah. Speak for experience. And all around. I agree, yeah. Yeah, I think I'm leaning towards that just because at least then you kind of know what's up and you could just accept it and kind of move on from there. And it sucks. And it's not okay, of course, but at least you could be like, okay, this is the situation. And you can just like deal with it and kind of move on, or try to move on as much as possible. But yeah, when it's kind of in and out, in and out, in and out, you never know what's going on, you never know what's up. Yeah, I feel like that could probably do more damage because you're constantly getting your hopes up and then it shattered again, and then you think maybe this time's okay and it's not, you know. And then you try to guard yourself maybe by like, next time he's back and say, no, I don't care, I don't care, I don't care. But maybe he stays a bit longer this time, so you think, well, maybe it is okay this time, and then it's not, and then he just shattered again. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm leaning a bit more towards the just not around. But yeah, I think in the end, it's probably going to depend on the kid, and maybe of course going to depend on the specific reasons why they're inconsistent, or specific reasons why they're not around. You know. Like if somebody's inconsistent because of the type of work that they do, then that's maybe a bit more forgivable in the sense that you don't always know how long they're going to be around for when they are around. It might be a short time, it might be a long time, but at least you know why and what they're doing and that sort of thing. And at least you know that they do intend on coming back, and that's, you know, so you can kind of work with that at least. If it's just, you know, they just don't feel like it. Like swearing. Naughty like swearing. Yeah, I think I only ever heard my dad swear once. At least one that I can remember anyway. I'm pretty sure he's used swear words loads of times. He's probably used loads of swear words, I'm sure. But I think to my mind, I feel like I only remember hearing swearing once. Or at least in English anyway. Let me say that. I feel like I only remember swearing once in English. And that's when I knew I was pissed off. That's when I knew I was pissed off. Yeah, it was something to do with you know, my brother being out, and I think he went someplace and didn't say where he was going or something like that, and it got like really late and he hadn't come back, and he was mad. But yeah, good times, man, good times. No, I don't think they do actually. It's probably for the best, Fred. It's probably for the best. They don't need to be here. They don't need to be here. But yeah, that's a shame that some fathers, yeah. Yeah. Well, some parents, really, I should say, could just do some really mean, horrible things to their kids. It's unfortunately not an isolated incident. It's like there's enough of them doing it for it to be a thing, and that's yeah. That would be funny if that does run across of a stream. But yeah, we do the best we can. So in the end, it's all we can do. You know, we take what we have and we do the best we can with it. And we try to be okay despite what we've been through. Monkey, that's happening. Yeah, Monkey's alright. Monkey's alright. He's playing with his guns somewhere, I think, but he's alright. I think he's doing his homework and playing with guns. Kind of, yeah. He's doing alright. He's doing alright. He's a good kid. Yeah, that's the thing though, is I feel like people think that just because he wasn't, say, hit or, you know, like physically, you know, assaulted or anything like that, you know, oftentimes people don't fully realize that it can still be every bit as bad, maybe even worse in some cases. You know, it's, you know, just because there was no, you know, physical hitting or stuff like that, you know, doesn't mean that it was a minor thing. You know, I feel sometimes people don't really fully appreciate that. Let's see, mentally bad man. Well. This stream has been okay for the past hour and 40. It is approaching a time where I need to start winding down so that I can lay my head to rest. But first, put some food in my belly. I just saw a video that I want to save to my watch later list. It's got, oh, here it is. See if it's my watch later list. Or listen later, probably won't actually watch it. Now I want to go down. This is my past, focus on my kids and try to do better. Indeed. Indeed. Try not to repeat the mistakes, or the mistakes are the right word to use, but certainly trying to repeat all the bad stuff that they did. You know, whatever reasons they had for doing it, whatever, you know, doesn't matter. Internet doesn't matter. I know a lot of times people talk about, you know, hurt people, which is true, you know, but at the same time, it's like, it doesn't matter. It happened, and there's a point where you have to say to yourself, the cycle stops here. You know, the cycle stops here. Whatever reasons they had for doing what they did, the cycle stops here, and as much as possible, trying to pass it on so that, you know, your kids don't have to grow up with that. But yeah, it's time to start winding down. Me thanks, guys. You have been awesome. Appreciate you guys coming through. Appreciate you guys talking about, well, everything really. I mean, we kind of went a bit deep today. Me thanks. We went a bit deep today, and it's not all easy stuff to talk about. So I appreciate you guys doing that and supporting, being supportive, and keeping this place. You know, it's there. I mean, I know. I don't really like the term safe space. It sounds a bit lame, but I guess technically that does describe it. You know, it's a safe place where people feel like they can kind of talk and, you know. So yeah, appreciate you guys helping to make that what it is. You know, big up to everybody coming through. Big up to all of you. Say all we can do is all we can do is the best we can. Things don't always go the way we want. You know, we don't always, you know, we're not always in the position we want to be in. We don't always have the things we want to have, you know. But yeah, you got to keep believing that everything you have is all that you need. And somehow, some way, you know, you can get through it with your sanity intact. It might not be easy, it might not be the way you envisioned it, but you keep going. You keep going. So yeah, appreciate you guys. Big ups to everybody. Next live stream should be tomorrow. Hopefully we don't have these tech issues. But if we do, then well, I guess we have to deal with those as we come. That makes me want to be a better parent. I think you're a good parent, Sam. I think so. I mean, granted, I'm not there with you. I think you are. I mean, from you know, from the things you post on Insta, you know, the relationship you have with your kids, like, that's awesome. So I think you're doing all right, Sam. I think you're doing all right. And the fact that, you know, you have kids that don't hate you, I think that's I think that says that you're doing pretty okay. I think that says you're doing pretty okay. I'm sure there's like ups and downs and all that sort of stuff, but I think the fact that they don't hate you means that you're doing pretty okay. But yeah, guys, you've been awesome as always. Appreciate you and all that you do. Thank you for keeping me company. Thank you for keeping it lively. Oh yes, X-Files Season 2 tomorrow. That won the poll. So yeah, X-Files Season 2 tomorrow. We're going straight from X-Files Season 1 to Season 2. It's on Disney Plus if you have Disney Plus, or whatever you have it on DVD, Blu-ray, whatever. They hate me sometimes. Well, I guess it's only, if it's only part-time, then it's alright. You're doing alright still. You're doing alright. Part-time hate. Just a little bit of part-time hate, you know. Just little healthy part-time hate. Hey, you gotta be the parent too. You know, you gotta be the parent. You can't, I guess, you know, sometimes you gotta put your foot down and say, you know, You got to be the parent, and I get it. So it happens. You have to care for someone to hate them. Well, indeed. Yeah. See, huh? Yeah. See. There you go. Big up, Ben. Seem to play a good parent. Indeed. But yeah, guys. Till whenever, if ever. Hopefully tomorrow. Peace.